"Now," said Mr. Gruber, "before we leave we must visit the famous maze. Sometimes it takes people hours to find their way out." "I hope that doesn't happen to us," said Paddington. "My paws are getting tired." "Perhaps it's time I took you home," said Mr. Gruber. Much to his surprise, the words were no sooner out of his mouth than everyone around them began to talk. "Hey, that sounds like a great idea," said a man in a striped shirt. "Please to wait while I buy a new film for my camera," said a Japanese lady. "I've never been inside a real English home before," said another lady. "I wonder if they serve tea." Boop. "Oh dear," whispered Mr. Gruber. "They must think I'm one of the guides. What shall we do?" "Mrs. Bird won't be very pleased if they all follow us home," exclaimed Paddington. "She only has a small teapot." Then he had an idea. "Follow me," he called. "I think perhaps we ought to go in the maze after all." "Are you sure we're doing the right thing?" gasped Mr. Gruber as he hurried on behind. Doot. "Bears are good at mazes," said Paddington. You need to be in darkest Peru. The forests are very thick." And sure enough, before Mr. Gruber had time to say any more, Paddington led the way out, leaving everyone else inside. "However did you manage to do that, Mr. Brown?" gasped Mr. Gruber. "Quickest visit I've ever seen," agreed the man in the ticket office. "I used marmalade chunks to show where we had been," said Paddington. "It's something my Aunt Lucy taught me before she went into the home for retired bears." "But I thought you had eaten all your sandwiches," said Mr. Gruber. "I always keep a spare one under my hat in case I have an emergency," said Paddington. "That's something else Aunt Lucy taught me. She'll be very pleased when she hears." And he stopped at a kiosk to buy a picture postcard so that he could write and tell her all about his day out. That night, when he went to bed, as well as the postcard and a pen, Paddington took some rope. "It's something Queen Anne used to do," he announced. "I have a lot to tell Aunt Lucy, and I don't want to fall out of bed before I've finished."